Hey everyone, today I'm going to be demoing my new project, Quartz. It's a platform to learn anything but simplified. You can dive deeper in any topic and really learn comprehensively through multiple different avenues or styles of learning. I'm going to go ahead and start with probably the staple of difficult topics, quantum mechanics. So as you can see, it loads or generates the article to do with quantum mechanics. And all the formulas are correctly parsed, really in a very simple to view article view. And I agree, this is a very intimidating concept to tackle, even for myself. So we're going to leverage the tools available on the right-hand side to be able to tackle this topic. First, we have the simplify button. Simplify simplifies your content down into 5 different stages. So on first pass, you simplify it down to a college undergraduate level of understanding. So this should hopefully explain to the college goers to some extent what it is, but really we have 3 other levels, it being high school, middle school, and elementary. The premise is that even a 5-year-old should probably be able to tackle the topic of quantum mechanics if he wanted to. So that is the simplify button. So you can see it generates chunk-wise, kind of like an article generation. It's not like a AI generated stream, but rather it generates based off content chunks. Next, we're going to suppose I want to learn more about Planck's law specifically, right? The whole premise of all these underlined key terms is that I can click on Planck's law and it's going to navigate to the Planck's law article page and start generating content for me. So this is really the idea of a mind map version of learning where you're leveraging related topics. So starting at quantum mech, you can somehow end up in AI, or you can end up in biology field simply by clicking through a list or series of relevant related topics, which is why all these underlined topics can be clicked on and further explored. I'm going to load these background processes up, but Audify and another Podcastify or Podify are going to generate audio, realistic audio recordings of either the topic we're currently viewing or a podcast, respectively. The next exciting feature, I would say, is kind of suppose you want to break down a certain phrase or sentence, you can just ask GPT and it's kind of going to quote that and expand on that. Beyond this point, it also has the entire article as knowledge base, so you could ask it any question and it should be able to answer. You could ask follow-up questions on this. A very exciting feature that I like is turning on the microphone. And now you can kind of talk through as though you were learning this topic, right? So suppose, Planck's law gives the spectral radiance of a black body. Okay, what is a black body? If you give it a second, it's going to parse that data, and it's going to ask that question in chat directly. So you can talk back and forth, and then when you ask a relevant question, it's going to be able to answer that in the chat. And suppose I'm reading through this and I'm like, okay, spectral radiance sounds pretty cool. Can we open up an article on that? Once again, we're going to see it go ahead and parse that request. And it's going to go ahead and open the article on spectral radiance in a new tab and start generating that respectively. Before we get into the audios, I'm going to show one last thing to kind of test your knowledge on these matters, which is Gamify. This is an infinite quiz on the topic you're currently reading up on. So what is spectral radiance quantified per unit wavelength? Obviously, you could read through here probably to reference some of the data. I'm going to go ahead and guess. I think it's either A or B. And it's going to give you an explanation as to why that is correct. It's an infinite quiz, so it's going to keep going. What does the COS term stand for? Let's, really just go through these questions, but this is a great way to reinforce your learning. Seems the podcast is still generating. I'm also going to go ahead and turn off the mic functionality for now. just so it doesn't interfere. The reason the audio and podcast, sorry, we're still generating is because I clicked on spectral radiance or open spectral radiance after Planck's law. And so initially it was generating the audio for that. So it should take a second here, but it would generate the audio for this very soon. But as you can see, there's a lot of core complex topics that are being discussed here. So really all accurate information. If you scroll all the way down to the article, you'll also see related questions that you can ask chat, right? So these are generated questions.
Today we're tackling spectral radiance, which sounds like something you'd order at a sci-fi cafe. What is it in plain language?
Spectral radiance is basically how much light power is traveling in a specific direction, but measured per area, per viewing angle, and per slice of the spectrum.
So spectral radiance is just how much of the light power is traveling in a specific direction. That's, great intuition that I appreciate out of this. Similarly, Audify
Spectral radiance is a fundamental radiometry.
also played in different
describes how much
speeds.
electromagnetic radiation is traveling in a given direction per unit projected area, per unit solid angle, and per unit spectral.
Last but not least, to kind of wrap this all up, we have a dark mode for the dark mode viewers. And we also have a search here where you can continue your extended search. Let's see. See, it also recommends similar topics of that concept, that space. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hopefully this is a exciting product that I can get a lot of people on. On a day-to-day, you can access up to 10 articles for free if you log in. And so I really hope you guys go test that out. It's at tryquartz.wiki, and new updates coming soon. Thank you guys for watching.